Have you ever wished you could control your own work schedule? The time you spend at work? Or just work when you feel like you're most productive? This is one of the benefits of... Hi, my name is Mackenzie from Nailtech, and I help people create more space to do what they want through entrepreneurship. I have recently retired out of servicing clients in my beauty business, specifically nails, and nowadays I spend my time doing exactly what I want. No more and absolutely no less. Prior to me retiring from servicing clients, I was extremely confused and in limbo about what exactly I wanted to do. I no longer felt the passion I needed to continue to run my beauty business or scale it. Honestly, I had realized I needed more skills in order to scale up. And I realized that I didn't have a desire to scale up. I never wanted to have a salon. I never wanted to be a celebrity, nail tech. I never wanted any of those things, right? And over time, after achieving what I felt like was success, which is being able to be financially stable, in an entrepreneurial sense, right? Being able to pay my bills, being able to provide for myself and my family. These are elements that I considered to be success. And once I had that, I realized I no longer was interested in that. I no longer cared about sacrificing my time, my money, my life to build something that I wasn't passionate about, okay? 10 years ago when I went to nail school, I simply went to nail school because I was in the arts and a lot of my mentors were in beauty. So I was lucky enough to have people that had been doing it for 10 years come into my life and expose me. Now, don't get me wrong. Beauty business changed my life. It was the gateway to me learning and understanding that I could be, do, and have whatever I wanted. It was the gateway for me to be able to be an entrepreneur and own my own business at a very young age. So nowadays, I help people create more space to do what they want through entrepreneurship. So today, we are going to talk about some of the perks from transitioning from the 9-to-5 to entrepreneurship. And of course, some of these things may be obvious, but we're going to take a deeper dive into why these things actually matter and how these things actually affect your quality of life, okay? So on this channel, we talk a whole lot about quality of life, how to improve your quality of life, how to get more out of your life, how to do less of what you don't want to do and do more of what you do want to do, how to say no to those things that don't fit and don't align with your spirit and with the vision you have for yourself. So 10 years ago, when I first started out in the nail business and I decided to go to nail school, I was just roaming around in my life. I knew I had a passion for music, but I didn't know where to start. Honestly, I was too scared to start. I had a lot of fear surrounding me and surrounding my life. Just deep-seated subconscious fear constantly just hounding down on me that prevented me from following my dreams, right? So I picked a plan B. I picked a second best option for me, which was to be a business owner. That's something I grew up into anyway. My dad is an entrepreneur. My mother worked for the government her entire career. So one way or the other, I knew what it looked like to work, okay? I knew what it looked like to work hard and get what you wanted. Granted, I still had subconscious programmings around what I was capable of, what entrepreneurship should look like, things like sacrificing your life and time and giving up things that you probably shouldn't, i.e. time with your family, time with lovers, prioritizing certain sort of things in my life. Now that I'm 30, and I've been doing inner work for the last 10 years, I'm able to unpack a lot of that stuff and throw it out of the window and write a new program for myself. This is among the things that I'm going to be able to teach you how to do in order to transform and transcend your life. When I first started out, I've always been a really bad employee. I'm not going to lie. Like on paper, I look so good. Like interview, good. Paperwork, bomb. I'm going to get the job, right? But when I get the job, I'm going to be motivated. I'm going to do the things. I want to work hard enough. And then slowly but surely I'm going to start dwindling down because I don't feel motivated. And one thing about me, I've always had an extremely high sense of discernment and being able to discern things and trust my intuition. And what I saw was that I'm working for someone else's legacy. And that just never sat right with me. So eventually I went ahead and I went to nail school to try and provide a life for myself. I think I was more than 21 and I was still living off my parents. Like, I've been spoiled all of my life. 21, okay? Don't have my own phone plan, this, that, and the third. Now, some people would consider that lucky. I still consider that lucky. I think that's a blessing. I think that's wonderful. I think it's great. But I also feel as though it robbed me of certain experiences that you need to have. Like, when you're a young woman, you need to know and learn what it's like to generate your own funds and be able to take care of yourself to a certain level, okay? So I was underdeveloped in that way. So during this time, I really was going to quit a job about my time, right? If today I wanted to go to the mall and window shop all day because I probably don't have no money, or spend my last dollars. That was something I did a lot. I get some money and I spend it. If I wanted to do that, I won't show up to work. I'll just not be there. And in my mind, I justified it because this isn't my company. I'm not building up. What are they doing for me? Like, if I don't show up, they'll end up finding another person that will. So I didn't feel bad about that. And back then I did not have much of a conscience. So that allowed me to just feel like it was okay. Like, whatever. They don't give a damn about me. They're paying me pennies on the dollar, okay? I would be working a sales job and I would be at the cash register and I would be scanning like all the products and all the things that people would buy and how much money they would spend. Meanwhile, I'm making $13 an hour. For the whole hour, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, no. I just couldn't. Like, and no matter where I went, even when I got into corporate, because I worked for a luxury car company for a while, also doing technical work, I loved the environments. I just didn't like the pay. And not being paid enough for what I felt like my value was always kept me out of the door. So one of the main benefits of leaving 9-to-5 grind and entering into entrepreneurship ease is the fact that you get to build your own schedule. The flexibility of your schedule completely changes, okay? Have you ever wished you could control your own work schedule? The time you spend at work, or just work when you feel like you're most productive. This is one of the benefits of exiting 9-to-5 hustle and entering into entrepreneurship ease, okay? When I was younger, all I could ever think about while I was at work was how I could better spend my time. And it drove me mad. Like, it drove me mad. And one thing about me is I have a really inflated sense of self-confidence. Like, the delusion level is very, very much high. And so I knew that if it was weighing on my heart, I was very, very anxious to go to work. Sometimes I would cry. And looking back, I just thought there was something wrong with me. Like, I didn't even know what was wrong with me, but I just knew it was something wrong, and it was something abnormal because I wasn't like other people where other people could just go to work and, they would complain, but they wouldn't be crying. Like, I would be crying. I would be having panic attacks. And a lot of times that's what kept me from going. And I look back on it and I'm like, damn, I'm low-key lucky that my reaction was so strong to that, because I'd never be where I am now if I had just sucked it up or been able to suck it up and just keep going there and just keep participating in things that did not resonate with me. I'm not going to lie to you. When I was in beauty as a solo entrepreneur, solo beauty business, as a Nailtech, I created my own schedule, right? But I still knew that I was trading my time for money, okay? I was still trading my time for money. I was still trading my time for money. And what I mean by that is I knew I was capable of making more money than most people that worked 40 hours a week because I had a specific skill. When I was younger, side note, now I gotta tell you, the brain wanders, okay? So just try to keep up with me. When I was younger, I read Think and Grow Rich, okay? And there's a chapter in there about specialized knowledge. And this is what transformed the way that I thought about my value in the workplace. If you haven't read it, read it, okay? The book is amazing. It's something I continue to read and will read all of my life, okay? So specialized knowledge is basically taking your specific and specialized skills and focusing directly on those things, okay? And then you go out and you pitch yourself specifically for those skills in order to obtain what you want, okay? Basically, that is that is how I would describe it. You can read it for yourself, interpret it how you will, okay? So I started to realize that I should only focus on my skills that I had and felt comfortable with and go after positions like that, okay? So before I went to nail school, I was in graphic designer, branding. I helped people create logos. I helped people create and edit videos. That was the line of work I was in, and also in nonprofit, writing grants for museums. When I think about that now, I'm like, damn, you were really doing some really cool things at a young age. And a lot of it, some of it I took for granted. The other parts of it, I just outgrew. You know, life happens, and I still am able to take those skills with me, okay? And I was able to use them in my life for the last 10 years, okay? So don't ever think that the skills that you've had in the past don't matter and relate to the skills that you have today, because you're going to use those skills in order to create the life that you want to have. So having specialized knowledge in the workplace is amazing, right? However, when you're in the corporate world, you have to fit into boxes that are already checked and marked for you. When you become an entrepreneur, you get to create your own box, so to speak. Even saying that you're in a box doesn't even make sense, but you can create your shape, okay? Whether it's a circle, whether it's a square, whether it's a triangle. You get to decide what that means, and from that, you get to decide how much and how often you want to work. So when I started doing nails solo, I was able to decide, okay, I want to make X amount of dollars, right? How many clients do I need to take in order to make X amount of dollars? Same as saying, how many hours do I need to work, right? If every service I have is 1 hour, how many hours do I need to make $200 a day? And that's how I started to think. And that's how you reverse engineer that process in order to figure out how you can survive this lifetime as an entrepreneur, okay? And eventually, as time went on, I started to increase my prices because my value started to increase. My skill started to increase, which made my value increase, which made my prices increase. And from that, I took less clients. I was okay with that, you know? Some people have to get over the mental mind frame and mental paradigm that says you have to work more in order to get more, because it's not true. It's just not true. I could make $1,000 an hour today. Not if I'm at a corporate job, though, with the skills that I have, because my skills are capped in that particular type of environment. And that's just something you have to realize and accept. And once you accept that, you'll be able to frame your mind into something that is different. Because throughout life, we're not programmed to be like, go do what you want. You know, do what you want, work however much you want, say what you want, buy what you want, without considering what other people think, the bad programming that we have, the things that we think about those thoughts, right? Some of it we know, some of it we're not even aware of. So the main thing you have to do in order to make this transition is start to conceptualize your life differently, okay? For me, once I realized that I was not going to reach the level of success I wanted, and the idea of success that I had changed. Once I realized that, I started to really ask myself, what would it take to make me happy? And the answer was always there, right? You know, living next to a beach, living on the beach, being able to homeschool my daughter. Tried it in America, living under the structure of trading my time for money back then. Didn't work. Okay? So what did I need to conceptualize? What was the life I wanted to have? And I'd always known I want to go shopping during the day. Okay? I want to homeschool my daughter for 5 hours a day. Shit. 3 of the hours are at the beach. The other 2 are in the house, in her own study room. And the ideas I had were big, right? And now they don't scare me, but they did back then when I was thinking that I had to trade. Because, like, damn, how will I work if I'm doing all this? And that is where the concept of trading information for money came into play. And it took me a few years to really catch on to that. It really did. It was a concept that was so far out there that sounded good, but I just couldn't conceptualize it until I really, really started to separate myself from this last little speck of things where it's like, okay, I feel forced to do it. Okay, and now I don't do anything I don't want to do. Okay, and there's levels to that. So don't just up and leave, which I've done that a lot of times, and it makes life really difficult. Okay, so you have to find a balance somewhere where you inch out of that while you transform how you think. Because if you just leave situations and they benefit you, but they don't make you feel very good, right? You, chances are, don't have a plan, and you haven't really mentally figured out how you can allow yourself to move forward. Because for me, it was all just simply about changing my mind frame and changing what I feel like I would accept and things that I feel like I was worthy of. I'm worthy of trading my information for money, okay? I'm worthy of setting aside trading my time for money. I love my time. I need my time. I'm owning my time. I'm taking my time back, okay? So a lot of my work and my channel is meant to give people the confidence that they need to move forward with their entrepreneurship journey, okay? I want people to live and to feel life, okay? I want you to live and feel what it's like to live your life without stress, without anxiety, without a heavy weighing dark cloud on a Sunday night because you got to go to work Monday morning, okay? I want you to know what that feels like, and I know that you want to know what it feels like, and that burning desire to feel that feeling isn't going away, okay? So I make these videos as tools, tips, and tricks in order for you to realize that it's possible. I'm not special. I've had a lot of trauma in my life. I've created majority of it, okay? And I've taken responsibility for that. And another great tip and tool in order to transition is to take responsibility for yourself, boo. Okay? Take responsibility for you. Because we have to realize nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming one day and be like, okay, here's $1 million. Go ahead, sit on the beach. Nobody's going to do that. So there's so many benefits from aligning your work life with your priorities, right? And your personal priorities. Health benefits, right? Mental benefits, generational benefits. And a lot of the work that I do stems from me knowing that I'm a generational curse breaker. I'm a door opener. Okay, I'm a window opener. I am a person that opens gateways for other people to walk through in order to live their best lives. I know that about myself, okay? So I'm walking into my purpose and pathway, and I'm here to tell you that you can do the same exact thing. Take control of your health, okay? Certain things aren't good for your health. 40-hour work week can't be good for your health, okay? Yeah, we need to get money, but it's time for us to start thinking outside of the box on how to do that, because there's so many different ways on how to do that. We must remove our judgments about that. And I think a lot of people that want to be entrepreneurs but aren't have a lot of like unconscious judgments, like, oh, I'll be poor. Oh, they look poor. Oh, I won't have consistent paycheck. But what you have to realize, stability is an illusion. Stability is an illusion. The stability you need to create within your life needs to sit and rest in your heart space. It needs to sit and rest in your chest. It needs to sit and rest in your sacred chakra where you sit. It needs to sit there. And nothing and no one can take that away from you when you start to do it that way. But when you're relying on outside forces to make you whole and to help you and to feed you and provide for you, you're always going to be at risk. So when I was taking the time to visualize how I wanted my life, there were a few things I knew that I wanted. I knew I wanted to wake up and be able to go to the gym 5 days out of the week after I dropped my daughter off at school. That is something I knew I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to have time, at least an hour or two every single day to devote toward creative projects. I knew that. I knew I wanted to make more space for my creativity, more space for the things I was truly passionate about. And lastly, I knew that I wanted to start to create freedom of location. So that is my next chapter of my life, is creating freedom of location, where that means I can create a life from anywhere. I can create a life from anywhere, okay? I can work and get money from anywhere. And that in turn allows me to live anywhere I want for however long that I want to, okay? So that is my next journey, and that is something that I will be documenting. So you guys follow along with me as I teach you how to create more space to do more of what you want through entrepreneurship. So as I mentioned before, I was extremely anxious while going into work when I worked corporate jobs, even like retail jobs that I had. 40 hours a week was just too much for my brain. Okay? I struggled mentally, and I started to look into like, I don't know. I always went to YouTube, and that's where I found like Abraham Hicks. I must have been like searching like how to change my life or how to live my dreams or something. It had to be something like that. And I ran into Abraham Hicks and The Secret, and that's when I learned about manifesting. Okay? And it took years to unpack all the trauma that was blocking my blessings. Okay? And even during that time, I created more instances where I would have to suffer because I was addicted to suffering. That's another thing that we need to let go during this process is our addiction to suffering. Okay? A lot of us have an addiction to suffering and playing the victim that we don't know about. Okay? If your life is shit and your life is in shambles, it's because you like it like that. Something about you likes it. And that's just kind of like a surface way to describe it. But you have developed an appetite for some of the behaviors that you have. You have an appetite for it. So it's going to be a little hard to turn the wheel, right? So when we think about momentum, as Abraham Hicks says, just as much effort as it takes you to get into something, it takes to get out. So if I'm on a fast track to hell, I can't just turn the train around, okay? We have to get to a point where we kind of crash and burn, or at least the train stops or slows down before we can turn the other direction. And so this is where patience comes into play, and be patient with yourself. You have to be patient with yourself because life isn't easy. It's actually quite difficult until you face yourself, until you face your childhood, until you face your limited beliefs, and you put on your big girl pants and your big boy pants and say, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to do me. And then go do it. Because a lot of times we've disappointed ourselves in so many ways, and I can speak to this. I've disappointed myself so many times where I couldn't trust myself. And I probably realized that like 3 years ago. Like, girl, I don't trust you to take me anywhere. Because I had just been running amok. Even though I had some level of success I felt like I needed, I was still running a bad program that prevented me from taking it to the level I really wanted. Now I live that life, and I can think back on like, dang, these are the things that should have changed. And now I'm happy because I can take that information and throw it away and start to run a new program that says, I can have anything I want. I'm capable of anything. I'm responsible. I trust myself. I'm not going to let you down. We riding or we dying. Okay? So I'm going to give you 5 key takeaways on how to embrace more flexibility in your life in order to do more of the things you want and less of the things you don't. The first thing is prioritizing your work and life balance. So for me, my balance is so seamless where I don't even have to really think about it. Every day I have a list of no more than 3 tasks I really must complete. Anything extra is great, wonderful, but I'm not required to do that. These are tasks, high priority tasks that are going to propel me into the next day towards my goals. They are specifically about reaching my goals. 3 things I must do. Now, sometimes I have errands and stuff like that, but I usually do all of that on the same day. So you want to learn how to prioritize your work and your life. So for instance, for me, I wake up, I go to the gym, I come back home, and I get started on my projects as of late. It's wintertime, so I'm choosing to not hibernate this winter because I literally hibernated for the last 3 months. So it was like August, September, October, November, 4 months, right? For 4 months, I took in information, right? I did a lot of research on what my next steps were, and I was divinely guided to do that. And when I say divinely guided to do that, my inner self told me that's what I was supposed to be doing. I'm not supposed to be racking my brain trying to do anything. I'm actually supposed to be sitting still most of the time and listening, doing a lot of inner work, so that way I could get the messaging that I need in order to move forward. So now, also resting. I took 4 months to rest. Because summer I did nails traveling. And so that was kind of tiring, and mentally tiring as well. So I took 4 months to just rest. And for those of you that don't know, I have one other passion project that I'm extremely focused on. So I just focused on that. And that was like way more creative and less frequent. So I just took my time to get better at that, trying to work on that and less on this aspect, which, as I said, I'd been in limbo and I wasn't exactly sure what I should do. So when you're not sure what to do nothing. Get comfortable with doing nothing when you're unsure about what to do. You don't want to just go do a bunch of things and all in the name of being productive, or like, what is that? We're done with that. We're not doing that. We do everything with intention. So if I don't have an intention behind doing something, I'm not doing it. I'm not giving my energy, because I know that my energy is so precious. So I spent the last 4 months pulling my energy back from all different people, places, and things, getting my mind right, so that way I could move forward once I got the correct messaging about what it was I was supposed to be doing from God, from my inner source, in order to know, like, okay, now what I'm about to do is I'm about to create this $1 million course. And this is how I'm going to do it. And this isn't the first time I've wanted. I've had that for the last 5 years. But the way I went about it, I didn't do enough research. And it seemed like such a simple concept. But I had so much more to learn. Okay, so I spent 5 years learning. And so now I'm ready to blossom into it and do the things that it really takes. Okay, so resting is very important. So with work-life balance, resting is very important. When you're not sure what to do, don't do anything. And go deep within yourself. I suggest meditation. You're going to hear me say it every video. Go into meditative state and ask yourself, higher self, what should I do? God, what do you want me to do next? And really just tapping into God's source energy and allowing God to take hold of my life and surrendering to God has allowed me to be aware of who I am on a deeper level, because everything is levels and percentages, okay? So keep that in mind. Create custom routines, okay? So I'm going to create a workshop on how to create custom routines. Let me write that down, because I'll be having a lot of content ideas. Let me write it down. Hold on, y'all. I got to write shit down these days. I need a little notebook that's attached to my hip. So the most it takes is to be self-aware and to understand that you have to make all of this stuff up, okay? The benefits of having a 9-to-5 is that all you have to do is what you're told to do. You don't have to use a whole lot of brain power to think about what it is that you want to do, right? You just do what you're told. So when you're an entrepreneur, you have to take full responsibility of yourself, call your power back to you daily, daily, and realize, I can do this, and I just need to know what it is that I'm doing, okay? So I need a clear, concise vision and goal, okay? And once you have a goal, it's easy to create a strategy, right? And once you realize that you have to create a strategy, you start to go with the flow. A lot of you guys, I can tell, are going to have a bit of an issue with going with the flow. So if you have an issue with going with the flow, comment below. That's right. How to go with the flow. The fourth point I want to hit on is how to adapt to life events, right? Ooh, child. When I talk about meditation and inner work and anxiety and all of these things, this shit is real. It's really, really, really real. And entrepreneurship, there's a pressure there, right? And this is how my dad would always describe it whenever I would talk to him about like certain hardships I was encountering, right? And the first thing he would say, well, why don't you just go get a job? And now I feel like that's his little test to kind of test me out and see my temperature. And I'd immediately be like, nah, it ain't that serious. And that would kind of help reframe me and frame my mind back to where it needed to be. But how you adapt to life events. I will make more videos on this as an entrepreneur because I know everybody needs motivation. There were some times where I really, really, really needed motivation. And you have to be able to, one, motivate yourself, okay? And two, more importantly, realize and understand that you have a fire in you, a fire in your chest, and a fire up under your butt. That it's your job to flame that fire. It's your job to flame the fire and understand that the fire is not going away, okay? So you need to start to build habits that allow you to process and transmute that pressure. And it took me 10 years to fix my mouth to say that. So for me, personally, when I start to get overwhelmed, I meditate. I sleep. I will sleep for 2 days. Now, I don't mean 2 days straight. In some cases, I do mean that. In some cases, I do mean I'll sleep for the whole day until I have to do phase 2 of my day, which is parent, okay? I will sleep. And then that night, I'll go back to bed early. And sleeping allows you to reset your mind and your body, regenerate. Your sleeping allows you to regenerate, and it allows you to go into your dream state, which I studied dreams for a few years. I had an exhibition on dreams. It allows you sometimes to get the comfort and therapy, psychological therapy that you need in order to move forward, okay? That's another topic for another day. But sleeping, exercising, going on walks, and talking to a friend that you trust. I'm not talking about a negative person. I'm talking about a person that is in your soul tribe only. Now, I do communicate like hardships I've had, but it's after I've had it. Like after I've gone through it, then I'll be like, girl, you wouldn't believe this is what just happened to me. And I overcame it and did. That's how I would talk, if I felt the need to like tell someone who really is not a part of my soul tribe, but, which I don't really feel the need to do that anymore, but that's how I used to kind of do it. So adapting to life events is really, really important because life has its ups and downs. And the thing that a 9-to-5 provides is an illusion of stability where it's like, okay, I'm still going through ups and downs of life, but at least I get a paycheck on Friday. At least I get a paycheck next Friday. But also a great thing about entrepreneurship is life is having its ups and downs, but at least I get a paycheck today. Oh, and I have clients tomorrow. Oh, and I have this, I just sold this product. Oh, so in reality, the stability comes more often. But then there are these times that can be hard and you're like, what do I do? You problem solve in those instances. You sit down and you ask your higher self, or you ask God, what do I do? And that's my method on how to deal with things like that. But there's other ways, of course. The fourth point is embracing spontaneity. Embracing spontaneity is like so important because it's going to give you that feeling and that freedom of going through life with, I don't really know. I don't have a lot of I'm releasing my expectations, okay? I'm releasing the way that I expect things to go and embracing more of how things are, how things actually are in that present moment, with a high focus on how I want them to be in the future, how I want them to be in the future, not how they can be, not negative projections, not negative thoughts, feelings, or ideas, how I want them to be. And I hard focus on that. And I don't take my eyes off of it. So embracing spontaneity is going to give you a new frame of mind where you can just be like, you know what? I didn't get no clients today, but I'll probably get some tomorrow or next week or whatever the case may be, okay? Now, of course, you want to create a flow in your business where you're earning money on a daily basis, right? But it takes time to get to that point. So you're going to want to settle and be in control of your mind and your thoughts so that way you don't crash out. The fifth point is investing in your growth, okay? Learn new skills. There's so many free online classes you can take. YouTube, for God's sakes. YouTube University has created my life. Period. Created this life that I have. Books. Okay, I go to the library all the time. I love the library. Highly recommended. Okay, mentorships. Go talk to somebody and pay people. Okay, find someone that does what you want to do and pay them to teach you how to do it. It's that simple. I spent so many years trying to reinvent the wheel or create a wheel that already was out there and other people were utilizing on a daily basis. Meanwhile, I was trying to conceptualize something that already existed. There's nothing new under the sun. So there's no reason why you can't go out, pay $50, $100, $300, $2,000, save your money, get the information that you need, and move on. Invest in your growth, okay? And I think that's the greatest thing about me is that I have invested a lot of money into learning skills. And nobody can take those skills away from me, okay? A job can't take the skills. I could lose a job and go get another one because I have skills, okay? And sometimes you have to pay for those skills, and that is great. We love money. We love to spend it, okay? Because that you will get a return on your investment. When you invest in yourself, you're going to always get a return on that investment because you're compounding on those skills. You're adding and you're building onto those skills. So I recommend that. So building my own schedule in my day-to-day life has improved my quality of life by 100%, okay? I'm a different person. I get to change. I get to develop myself. I get to learn new things. I get to stop screaming at people. I get to not be so overwhelmed because a lot of us have anxiety issues. A lot of us deal with an extremely high level of overwhelm on a day-to-day basis that makes us act out of character. And so when you live like that for too long, it makes people think that you're a psycho. When really you just need a nap. Okay? So, being able to have flexibility of my schedule and freedom of my schedule, I'm able to spend more time with people that I care about. Now, another video would be, I don't spend nearly as much time with people as I used to. Even now that I can do I don't spend time with people like that because my time is the most valuable resource that I have. And I really spend more time focusing on myself and being self-centered, centric, all those things like that. I focus on that. So, but I can spend more time with people that I love and care about when I want to. And I can eat food that enjoys me, right? I live more in the realm of pleasure principle. Now, within these next few months, I will be entering in all the way into pleasure principle. I only do things that bring me pleasure. I only do things that bring me pleasure. So right now, right, we go from anxious to self-sufficient and anxious to just self-sufficient to experiencing a release in order to feel bliss sometimes, and then feeling bliss majority of the time, and entering into complete pleasure mode where I only do things that bring joy, bliss, and pleasure. That's where we're headed, guys. Okay. And if you are watching this, that's where you're headed too. Don't give up on yourself. There's no reason to. There's a wealth of knowledge everywhere. You either can get it for free from my page, other people's pages on YouTube, or you can pay for it. Okay. But there's no reason not to live the life that you have designed. There's just no reason at this point. It's the 21st century. So now that I have your ear, hopefully, like, share, and subscribe. Share this with someone who is in your soul tribe. Share this with somebody who you love and they're stressed out of their bazongas. Share it with somebody that needs to hear it as an act of love, okay? As an act of self-care. And let them know that it's an act of self-care to watch something like this. Now, you may get triggered a little bit along the way, but that's just a flag point for you to look deep within yourself and ask yourself what is going on here. Okay? So I do have a lot of free ebooks. Check the link below. And yeah, if you've learned anything from today, definitely put it in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.